Hi everybody, my name is Chelsea Higgison and I am doing my emerging technology project on Flipgrid. So what is Flipgrid? Flipgrid is a platform that teachers can use to create online video discussions with their classes. It's easy to use and keeps discussions among students monitored. So it's extremely easy to watch your students' videos and put plenty of regulations on the grid in order to make sure that what's being posted is appropriate. Students respond to questions with short recorded videos, and students can ask, respond, and comment to their peers' videos, and the discussion can keep going. So before I show you an example of my Flipgrid and how to set one up, I want to talk about why it's important in the classroom. For starters, it encourages students to engage with one another in a way that most of them are comfortable with, meaning a lot of them use social media throughout the day to interact with their peers. There's Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and Flipgrid reminds me the most of Instagram. When you open it up, it has videos or pictures in a grid-like manner, and people can post under the videos and pictures their comments and things that they want to discuss about that topic. Another reason why I like Flipgrid is because setting it up is extremely easy. It works for any subject area, even American Sign Language, which is what I teach, and sometimes there are apps and things that don't work for students that cannot hear or for hearing students learning a visual language, and this works great for that, and so I was really stoked when I found it. It allows students to share information in their own learning environment, and it allows students to be creative outside the classroom and think outside the box. So I really like Flipgrid for my students that have a difficult time sharing their opinion in class in front of their peers, which can be quite intimidating for some students. I really like it for those students specifically because when those students are at home, they come out of their shell a bit, they're more in a comfortable environment, and they can upload a video of them sharing their idea, and it's really neat to see them become more comfortable with the topic when they're at home. All right, so before I talk about why Flipgrid is an emerging trend, I want to show you what it looks like. This is my Flipgrid, and once you set it up, it is a free platform, but you can pay for the updated version, which this is, but it does look the same as the free version. So everything I'm going to show you is something you can access once you sign in. But once you sign in, this blue button with the plus sign will be here, and you're going to hit New Grid. And you're going to set up your grid details right here. It does a really awesome job of walking you through every step, and it even tells you, like up here, create a new grid. What is a grid? It's like a classroom where you can get discussions started, and once you create your grid, you can create a topic for each discussion. So you can give your grid a name. I did this in the previous video I created, and the typing was so loud that I'm going to bypass typing in an example, but at least I want to show you where you can put in your name for your grid. You can describe the purpose and goals of this course or grid to your students. And then over here's the grid code. You can change the grid code to whatever you want, but I just usually keep it with whatever Flipgrid puts right there, and I share it on Google Classroom for my students to access. This is actually not going to let me create it unless I put something in, so I'll try to type quietly here. I'm going to do ASL2, period 4, grid purpose. I'm just going to put a bunch of dashes here. I might put something though like the purpose of this grid is for students to discuss topics surrounding the deaf community. And that's pretty broad, but my topics will be much more specific. So security and privacy, I do put a password protection here because I want only my students in the class to access it. So again, I might just put ASL2. I don't want my students to be able to share the link, so I'm going to keep that off. And you can just read through each of these descriptions. It does a really great job of walking you through everything. I would recommend that you have Flipgrid notify you when students record their videos and upload them. It's just an extra step. That way you can monitor them better. And then you can customize your photo for the grid. I like this photo, so I'm going to keep it. It is one of the free ones that Flipgrid has. And then you're going to hit Create Grid. Well, then it's going to ask for you to create a topic for that grid. So think of a topic as a discussion around a particular subject or theme. So I'm going to hit Create Topic. My topic title should say Deaf Community. And I'm going to have this displayed on the 26th, on Monday. I'm only going to give them a minute. You can do anywhere from 15 seconds to 5 minutes. I'm going to do 1 minute long. Topic description, again, I might put something here like share one way that you think deaf people have a hard time adapting to the hearing world, which is something we talk about quite a bit in class. I'm going to make this active, but I'm going to close it. You can close your grid. I'm going to give my students a full week to respond. And then I can add resources here. You can record a video of yourself, upload a video, add a video from YouTube that you want your students to respond to, upload an image, add an emoji, which I'll do. All my students are stars, so I'll choose that one. And then down here, you can add a URL if you want. Concerning the topic, you can actually pull an external link directly from Google Docs. So if you do like Google sharing with your students or collaborative, like a collaborative document, that might be kind of cool to do. I allow my students, which you'll see in a moment when I show you examples, to use stickers and drawings because they really like them. So you can decide what you want them to be allowed to do. And I'll hit Create Topic. So once you get the topic, you can actually show your class the grid code, and I did put a password on it, so they'll type in ASL2, click open, and this is what they'll see. Now if I want to share the code in class, I can pull this up and they can scan it or type in the code, and this is what will come up. This was what they'll see. But for me, I have a different view, and this is the view that you'll see, and I'll show you one like right here. This is Teach Your Sign, which I had my students record a 30-second max, which none of them even took that long, video of themselves signing a vocab word that they had to teach their peers, and they absolutely loved this. So for instance, let's hit on Courtney's first. She's going to fingerspell a word. Chocolate. And then she says and signs it. So that's really neat because then in class we watch these and the students learn from one another. So they really take their learning into their own hands. Here's another one. Miss Peyton.
Lou, did you fingerspell it and sign London and say it? Fingerspell it and sign it.
And that was tortilla. All right, and one more. This is Luke. All right, so they really have a fun time doing that, and these are all the videos that have been uploaded. So we'll watch them in class and they'll learn from each other. So why is this an emerging trend? Well, it has only been around since January 2017. Although teachers are starting to use it, many still are not. For example, out of my ASL2 students, which I have about 55, only a few, and by a few I mean like 2, knew about the app. The rest of them had to download the app, and none of them had used it in any of their classes. And these are juniors and seniors. And the fact that none of them knew about it told me that teachers are not really using this. So it's not as popular as like Google Classroom, Google Docs, all of those things that are out there. And I really like it, just to kind of reiterate, but it uses layouts that students are already familiar with, which I think you saw and discussed in the previous slide, like Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and whatnot. But I really think as students start to use this, like in my classroom and other classrooms, they'll share it with their other teachers. And I really hope that teachers start using this because my students just loved it and I'm so glad I found it. So these are the resources that I use to create this slide and just to learn about Flipgrid on my own and or to create this PowerPoint, excuse me. And so there are a lot of resources out there for every subject content. So if you go to Google and you type in like math for Flipgrid, a bunch of examples will come up. So I highly encourage you to check this out and hopefully it works for your subject content area. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me and ask, and I would be more than happy to expand on any of this information. All right, guys, thanks.